Take two with an unmuted mic. Welcome to Next Gen Money Talks. My name is Mark Dooley, and today we're going to be talking about credit. Do you really need it? What's it about? And I kind of teased it when I put it out there. The answer is going to be, it depends. I'm going to start it off right there. I'm not going to leave you in suspense for the whole time. There's going to be some people out there that need it. There's going to be some people out there who don't. If you become independent wealthy, it becomes an asset. It doesn't become a liability anymore to you. That's the big picture. That's the textbook definition from it. But we're going to break it down. We're going to take it step by step. And I want to start with the story of why this conversation even came up. So I had a client reach out to me this week and ask me a question. They said, I applied for a credit card and I did not get approved. Why did I get denied for a credit card? I pay my bills on time. I don't have a lot of debt. Why did I get denied for the credit card? And so we looked through, she pulled up her credit report, and we went through it and looked, and we saw there wasn't a whole lot on there. There wasn't, there was one credit card, and there was a one closed credit card, and there was an old car loan that was 5 years old. There was no credit whatsoever on there. And she sat back and she said, well, wait a second, Mark, I did it all right. I paid off all my debts. I don't owe anything. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have a car payment. I use one credit card and I pay it off at the end of the month. Why did this company deny me for a credit card? And in order to understand this, we have to dive deep. We have to look at what a credit score actually is in order to understand where we're going with it, okay? A credit score, simply put, is a bank's way of making money off of you. They're going to determine how much they can make off of you by using your credit score. They're going to look at this number. They're going to say, okay, you have a very high credit score. So very, very likely I'm going to be able to get my money back if I lend it to you. And so I can charge you an interest rate. And I get pushback on this, like, well, wait a minute, Mark, they charge higher interest rates for people who have lower credit scores. Don't they want people who have low credit scores? No, guys, I used to work in banking. I used to do underwriting for loans. I understand how this works. They charge higher interest rates to lower credit score people because there's a much higher likelihood that they're not going to be able to pay it back. A bank's number one job is not return on investment. It's return of investment. All right, let me say that again. A bank's number one job is not return on investment, it's return of investment. If I lend out $10,000 and I'm making 50% on it, that's amazing. But what happens if I don't get any payments on it? What if I don't get my $10,000 back? I would rather lend out $10,000 at a 5% and know I'm going to get paid back, and then I know I'm making money in the transaction. I'm making money in the deal. He goes, oh, wait a second, Mark. Well, what about me? I pay my credit card off every month. The banks never make any money on me. Every time you swipe that card, the bank's making money. Those minuscule little transaction fees, they love people who go out and spend $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 a month and pay it off at the end of the month. They're making money on you. They're not making money by you paying it. They're making money from the vendors as you go and swipe your card everywhere. They're making money off of the transaction. So the credit score is going to determine how likely is the bank going to be able to make money off of you. And when we look at the credit score, people go, oh, Mark, this credit score, what is this? How does this work? There's all these different ideas, and we're gonna break it down. We're actually gonna talk about why it's so confusing. But whenever I talk about the credit score, there's one image that comes to my mind. Do you guys remember The Wizard of Oz, the movie? The original one. There's been a lot of remakes and everything. Remember the wizard? Let me pull them up here for you. You guys remember the wizard? And everyone walks in and they all cower before the wizard. The wizard's the all-powerful, all-knowing Oz, And what happens? You come up and you make your request of the wizard, and the wizard decides, yeah, yes or no, what's happening on there. But what happens at the end of the movie? They peel back the curtain, and behind the curtain is a man. And it's my favorite moment. It's one of my favorite moments in all of movie history is when they peel back the curtain, they expose the wizard as the fraud that he is. And what does he say? Pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the guy over there, because the illusion's gone. Once the illusion's gone, the power's taken away. Everyone just realizes, wait a minute, the wizard's not really a wizard. He's just a man. He's normal. And that's what happens. When you go apply for a credit card, when you go apply for a loan, your system, your information goes into the system, and then somebody looks at it. Now, a lot of times it's automated and things like that, but if you ask for it, you can have somebody manually underwrite. Somebody could look at your application. A person makes a decision. It's not this big, mysterious, all-knowing, all-powerful being called the credit score that happens there. So the credit score is just a part of it, and there's different elements to it. And I'm going to show you guys right now why it's so confusing. What is going on with this credit score? Why can't we seem to get our minds wrapped around this? And this is why. This is two different websites, okay? Let me pull this off. These are two different websites trying to explain a credit score. The one on the left says that there's 5 parts to your credit score. The one on the right also says there's 5 parts. But guys, I want you to think about this for a second. Like, dive deep into what they're showing you here. The numbers don't match. The categories don't match. Things are different between both of them, okay? It is completely opposite of what you would think. You think that there'd be a set standard for how these things work. It's not. It changes all the time. So how do we change our credit score? How do we actually start to affect these things? You know, on the one on the left, let's break it down a little bit further. The one on the left, it says 50% is amount owed versus available credit. This is also called debt utilization or account utilization. It's the amount. So if you've got a $10,000 limit, when you add all your credit cards up together and you're using $9,000, they don't like that. They want that number to be lower because they're concerned, are we going to be able to get our money back off of you? If there's a higher risk, we're going to charge you a higher rate. If you're at $1,000, they like that. They say, oh, our money's going to be safe if we give our money to you. Guys, think about Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary. What does he always talk about whenever he wants to be able to give his money out? He wants to know his money's going to be safe with who he gives it to. He wants to give the money out, and he wants it to come back with friends. Okay, that's the way he thinks, like a bank does. That's what the bank does. The bank knows that if it's going to lend its money out, it wants to make sure that the money comes back and it comes back with friends. Maybe it's your friends in the form of interest and fees. Maybe it's the vendor's money and it comes back with the vendor's friends and their money in terms of fees, transaction fees. No matter what, the bank wants to make money when it hands out the money. So looking at this utilization, they're saying utilization is 50% on the left side. On the right side, they're saying utilization, and that'd be amounts owed, that's 30%. Which also on the left here, if you look at it, because this is where we're going to break it down, so this is why it gets so confusing. What's the difference between the 50% and the 25% on the left side? What's the difference between total amount owed and amount owed versus available credit? It's basically the same category. So the one on the left is telling you 75% of your credit score is based upon the amount of money that you owe. Now here's the difference between these. I'm about to blow your mind. You ready? Get your head screwed on right. Get ready for this. Open the ears up because I'm about to blow your mind. The picture from the left was taken from a debt consolidation company. The picture from the right was taken from FICO's website. The picture on the left was taken from a debt consolidation company. The debt consolidation company is telling you that 75% of your credit score is built up in the amount that you owe. What do they want you to do? Consolidate, refinance with us. Let us negotiate your debt for you. We're going to help get your credit score to a better place. Because the one on the left is an advertisement. The one on the right is closest to the truth. Now, different underwriting has different standards and different guidelines for what this actually comes out to, but the one on the right is much closer to what the actual truth is. Your amount owed is between 30 to 35% of what your actual credit score is made up of. So be careful in the information you're getting out there. There's a lot of, it's called informational advertisements. So it's an advertisement that's designed to look like an information. It's designed to look like a blog post or something like that, but really it's just a pitch for you to buy whatever they're selling you. That's what this left one is a pitch for you to realize, oh my gosh, I really need to take better care of my credit. Oh, they'll take care of it for me. They're going to take care of this. Great, I'm going to be able to do this. Let's switch away from this now. Let's just look at the truth. Let's get rid of this guy and zoom this back in. Ooh, too far. Lost it. Technical difficulties. There it is. Zoom it back in. The FICO score. It's the amount owed, the payment history, the credit mix, the length of credit history, and new credit, which is inquiries. How many inquiries have you had? So my original client that said, well, wait a second, why did I get denied for a credit? I always pay my bills on time. Well, they've only paid 35%. That's only 35% of their payment. Their credit history is not very long because they've closed out all their accounts. They don't have a mortgage. They don't have a car loan. They don't have a bunch of credit cards out there. Their average length of credit history is not very long. Their credit mix is not very strong, because all they have is variable credit, which is like a credit card. It's called revolving lines of credit. There's no installment credit, which is like a home loan, a auto loan, different areas like this. The mix is important. The amounts owed is important. Now, here's what we're going to do. Here's what again. Ready, guys? I'm about to lay some truth on you. This is coming straight from underwriting at major banks. Amount owed is very, very significant. If you have a credit limit of $10,000 and you are using $1 of your $10,000, you get an A+. Great job. If you are using $0 of a $10,000 balance, it is the equivalent of having like a $5,000 balance on there, because they can't see how good you are with the credit. It's like it doesn't help you not carrying a balance. So you just got, and when I say carrying a balance, let me be clear, it has to report and then be paid off. You can pay it off every month as long as it's reporting. What happens is people pay it off too soon. People pay it off fast because they want to get hit with interest. They don't understand the rules of the game. So they pay it off too soon. It never reports and it shows a zero balance. And then their credit score is nothing. And they don't understand why their credit score is so low. It's a game. And I think that's really the takeaway from all of this is the credit is a game. If you can learn the game, you can play the game, you make the money and you win. Okay. It's not difficult. It's not complicated. It's just learning the rules of the game. Football can be a very complicated game if you don't understand how it works. Football can be something that's extremely complicated if you don't understand how it works. Sometimes you watch like a group of guys are watching football, and then there's one guy in the group that doesn't get it, and he's like, "Wait a minute, why was the yellow flag thrown there? Wait, that person threw the ball and it was okay, but now that person threw the ball and it wasn't okay. Well, they were past the line of scrimmage. What's the line of scrimmage?" We understand this. We understand a lot of stuff because we've been around it. Credit works the same way. Learn the rules of the game. You can start winning that game a lot faster than there. And that takes us into, how do I change it? You got to start looking at what's the installment mix that you're looking at. When was the last time you opened a new line? How many lines do you have open? If you only have one credit card open, it's not going to be enough. You probably need 3 to 5 just so that way the bank can get a good establishment of how this works. So let's go back. That's the story about my person who got denied for a credit card and asked the question, why did I get denied for the credit card? I'm going to talk now into, do you even need this? Which is kind of the theme of where we're at, what we're talking about here today. Today's theme is being debt-free isn't enough. And the answer I put out there was, it depends. It really depends on what you have and where you're at. Are you actually doing what you need to be doing with money to get to where you want to go? And for many of you guys, being debt free is the ideal spot. Being able to just basically tear up the mortgage, tear everything up, everything is done. And if you're independently wealthy, and I'm going to throw a number out there, if your net worth is 7 figures or more, that's available in access and liquid that you can go grab, you probably don't need credit at that point, because you can go self-finance whatever you need. But if you're less than that, if you've got $200,000, $300,000, $500,000, there's probably a good chance throughout your life you're still going to need credit. So you still have to know how to play the game. I'm not telling you to pay interest. I'm not telling you to hurt yourself financially, but learn to play the game. It's the same reason why you can get a mortgage exemption on your house, at least in the area where I live right now. You can get a mortgage exemption even if you just have a home equity line of credit with a very, very small balance, like a $500 or a $1,000 balance. You still count for a mortgage exemption on there. There's certain things that you can do when you learn to play the game. The banks don't want to tell you that, though, because the banks want you to go get the $100,000 mortgage. The banks want you to go do certain things. There's 2 sets of rules out there, guys. There's the rules for the informed, and there's the rules for the underinformed. And there's nothing out there having us become the informed. We need to take it upon ourselves to become the informed, so that way we know is it where it's at. Because it's easy to make extremes. It's easy to say, well, I'm debt free. I'm never going to be in debt again. I'm never going to worry about my credit score again. Or over here, this person says, I'm drowning in debt. I have too much debt. I can't make my mortgage payment. I'm dying right now. There's a middle of the ground where you can be debt free, but still care about your credit score. Let me say that again. There is a middle of the ground where you can still be debt free and care about your credit score. It's a middle. It's a compromise. But here's the thing: you have to know that unless you're playing the game with a car loan and a mortgage and a couple of credit cards you owe money on, they're not going to give you an 800 credit score. You're not going to be up there. What do you need? You need something over 670. That way you know you're taken care of. If you're over 670, over, some people say 700, you know you're in a good place. Loan officers out. If you guys are a loan officer, you want to shoot, hey, recommend what the credit score should be. As high as you possibly can is not a standard for a credit score. That's how you stay in debt. That's how you get in debt and stay in debt. But create that minimum standard for yourself. Hey, I'd like to stay above this. Play the game that they have out there, and you can keep your credit score up while still being debt-free. It's not enough to simply be debt-free. You have to also be aware of the rules. That way you can maintain that standard of living that you want to have. If you want to be able to go get a car, you can go get the car loan if you need it. If you want to go get a credit card, you can go get the credit card if you need it. It's not a matter of, and let me break this down a little bit here too, because we used to use the word need. Oh, do I need a credit card? If you want it, you know, like for me, my family, we're all going to go to Disney later on this year. Guys, we want a Disney credit card. We want to get the rewards points. We want to get the promotions. We want to do all this stuff. I have a good credit score. I want to use my credit score to be able to get the things I want in life. Well, I can't get those bonuses and promotions if I don't have the credit set up, because I live the debt-free lifestyle. You know, and for some people, this is where I said it depends. 1 out of 10 people right now probably go, I don't need that credit card. I don't need its rewards. I don't need its bonuses. I got my money. I'm good. I'm happy. More power to you. You're doing better than like 80% of the people out there. So if we break ourselves down into categories here, and we have 10 people standing in front of us, 1 can be independently wealthy and say, I don't need credit anymore. 1 can say, you know what? I have credit and I'm debt-free and I'm happy. The other 8 people statistically have debt and they're drowning, or not drowning in it, but they have more debt than they have income that they're trying to pay off, that they're trying to work it down. Some of them are on a plan, some of them aren't, but just working through that. Most of them are not debt-free and building their credit, okay? It's a very, very rare breed that does that. All right. If you guys have questions, if this is something that resonated with you, let me know. Give me a comment, give me a like, go to our channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel now. This is being broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube, so you guys can watch us there as well. If you have a question that you'd like to post and talk about, have me go over, go ahead and send us an email to moneytalks@nextgenbudget.com. Send us your question. You can ask to be, you can be anonymous, or you can give your name. If you'd like to be on the show, if, we had some guest speaker last week come on and present. If you'd like to be on the show and talk, by all means, send me an email. Let me know that you're interested. I would love to connect with you, especially if you have a business and you run a business and you want to come promote your business here. Please, I would love to have you. People don't really like talking about money when they're an entrepreneur. They like to talk about making money. They don't like to talk about keeping money and building and growing money off of it. It's about how much sales can you make, how much bigger can you get it. It's not about how can you actually build a sustainable business. Sustainable business requires cash flow. Cash flow means you got to talk about money. So money talks for business, money talks for life. It's expanding. We love it where we're at. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining me here today. And there's a lot of things out there that you could take your time to watch and listen to. So taking your time to watch and listen to a money show, I appreciate you so much for doing that. And I believe in this world, if you speak something, it comes into existence. So for my viewers out there today, I'd like to see jobs and better jobs, raises and bonuses, positions and promotions, provisions and resources, checks in the mail, finding money, and debts paid off, so that you have more than enough to dent the universe in the way that you were called to. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye.